At MIT, they auctioned off Boston Celtics tickets, and the people paying by card bid up to twice as much as the cash buyers. Same seats, same people. The plastic just quietly rewired what they thought a ticket was worth. Picture a sealed bid auction. You write down what you'd pay, you seal it, no takebacks. Two MIT researchers, Dražen Prelec and Duncan Simister, ran exactly this. The prize? Tickets to sold-out Celtics and Red Sox games. Everyone bid on the identical tickets. The only difference was one tiny instruction slipped to each bidder. Half were told, "You'll pay in cash." The other half, "You'll pay by credit card." That's it. Now, logically, this should change nothing. A dollar is a dollar. The tickets don't know how you're paying. Except the card bidders went berserk. They offered roughly 60 to 100% more for the exact same seats. One widely cited number is an 83% higher willingness to pay. Same person, same wallet, same ticket. And before you say it, no, this wasn't people just not having the cash on hand. The researchers checked. Liquidity wasn't the answer. The card itself changed how much the tickets felt worth. Their own conclusion was that the effect may be large, up to 100%. A sliver of plastic, doubling the value of a thing. So we have a crime scene. Money is leaving wallets faster than it should, and the prime suspect is in your back pocket. To catch it, first we have to understand something weird about your money. It hurts. Back in 1996, a grad student named Ofer Zellermeyer gave this feeling a name in his PhD dissertation at Carnegie Mellon. He called it the pain of paying. Working under the behavioral economist George Lowenstein. The idea is beautifully simple. Spending money produces a real, tiny jolt of negative emotion. It's not a metaphor to them. It's a genuine sting, a little flinch every time cash leaves your hand. And that sting is actually useful. It's your built-in brake pedal. It's why you don't buy the boat. Now here's the trick. Cash makes that pain loud. You count it. You feel the pile shrink. You watch it walk away. A card? Fast, easy, painless. You swipe, it lights up, you leave. The bill comes later, to future you. The pain gets deferred and diluted. And a brake pedal you can't feel is not a brake pedal. So the theory was elegant. Cash hurts, cards numb, and numb people spend more. But a theory is just a theory. What the investigators needed next were receipts. Actual, real-world receipts. And oh, do we have receipts. Start with the headline number. People spend somewhere between 12 and 18% more when they pay with a card instead of cash. That's the same person, same store, same wants. Just a different rectangle handed to the cashier. Then look at transaction sizes. A 2016 Federal Reserve study tracked what people actually pay with and how much. The average cash purchase? About $22. Small. Careful. The kind of thing you count out. The average credit card purchase? About $57. Debit landed around $44. So the cash purchase is less than half the card one. Same shoppers. The payment method basically doubled the tab. Want it in fast food terms? Cornell economist Robert Frank told the story of McDonald's. When McDonald's started accepting cards, the average purchase reportedly jumped from about $4.50 to around $7. Nobody decided to get hungrier. The plastic just quietly whispered, "Go on, add the large fries." Here's a real one for reference. This is what a card built. So the receipts all agree. The card doesn't just let you spend more, it seems to make you want to. But want is a brain word. And that meant our detectives had to go somewhere uncomfortable. Inside the skull. In 2007, a team led by Brian Knutson and Scott Rick tried something clever. They put shoppers inside an fMRI scanner. Their study was literally called Neural Predictors of Purchases. They showed people products, then prices, and watched the brain react. When a price felt too high, one specific region lit up like a switchboard. That region is called the insula. and its usual day job is deeply unglamorous. The insula helps process physical pain and disgust. It's the part that flinches at a bad smell or a stubbed toe. So when researchers say a high price registers like pain, they mean it almost literally. Same neighborhood. And here's the beautiful part. That flash of insula pain actually predicted people not buying. The more it hurt, the more they walked away. The pain was doing its job as the brake. So now the mystery sharpens. If a high price triggers pain, and pain stops us buying, then how does a credit card get you to sail right past the pain and buy anyway? Does the card just switch the pain off? Turn down the alarm? That was the obvious guess. For years, that was the assumption. Cards release the brakes. Except in 2021, someone finally caught the card in the act. And it wasn't touching the brakes at all. In 2021, MIT's Sloan's Drazen Prelek, the same auction guy, teamed up with Sachin Banker. This was the first ever fMRI evidence of the credit card effect. And they didn't fake the stakes. Participants made real purchases with their own real money, cash or credit, while lying inside the scanner. Then the researchers watched the brain the instant the card came into play. And something lit up. It wasn't the insula. The pain center barely stirred. Instead, a deeper region flared up. The striatum, the brain's reward center. Its dopamine engine room. And here's the kicker that changes everything. This reward spike fired on the credit card queue itself. It was not tied to the product's price. The card lit up the reward center regardless of how much anything cost. So the old story was wrong. The card doesn't gently release the brakes. The researchers put it perfectly. The card is stepping on the gas. It doesn't just remove restraint, it actively builds a craving, a little pull towards spending out of nowhere. And here's the line that should genuinely unsettle you. This is the exact same reward center exploited by addictive drugs. The same dopamine circuitry hit by cocaine and amphetamines. And yes, this is documented in a peer-reviewed 2021 study. The team said cards appear to sensitize these reward networks. As Prelek put it, the plastic itself becomes linked to the joy of buying. Read that again. The card in your hand becomes the reward, before you've bought a single thing. Now remember, this whole effect runs on friction, on the little sting of paying being visible. Cash has the most friction, swiping a card has less. So what happens when we remove even more? Enter tap to pay. You don't sign, you don't swipe, you barely touch it. It's over before the sting arrives. A UNC Chapel Hill study reportedly found people using mobile contactless payments spent nearly 10% more than card or cash users. And in UK studies, people walking out of stores badly underestimated how much they just tapped away. They genuinely didn't feel it leave. Which, if you've been paying attention, is the entire point. Because the takeaway from all this research is almost cruelly simple. The more a payment hurts, the less you spend. Cash stings most, card less, tap almost nothing. So an entire industry works very hard and very deliberately to make paying feel like nothing at all. They're not turning off the alarm. They're stepping on your gas pedal, gently, every single day. So back to that MIT auction and the poor souls who paid double for their Celtics tickets. Their brains weren't broken. The plastic just lit up the reward center, whispered, "Go on," and switched off the ache that would have stopped them. The unsettling part? None of them felt a thing. And if paying by tap feels wonderfully painless to you right now, that's not a bug. That's the whole machine, working exactly as designed. Subscribe. It's free, it doesn't even light up your striatum, and the stick figure's piggy bank has been through enough.